right, so Danielle is going to start us off with a really great, workshop about power of words. And as we're actually here together today, I want us to take one thing with you when you leave is this question. So as we are kind of talking and sharing ideas and brainstorming some ways on how we can be effective at doing our job, the one thing I do want us to really keep in mind is one question, and is what are two physical ability that you consider essential, and how do they impact your life? And I don't want us to just reflect on that for ourselves, but also reflect on that as you're taking care of your clients. What are those physical ability that they were once, accustomed to that they no longer have, and how can we fulfill those needs? And as we are kind of here learning more about memory care, learning more about ways on how we can be effective at our job, just think about those things and put yourself in your client's shoes, put yourself in pretty much what we are doing right now is just to learn, to grow, and to provide our client with the best care possible. So I am going to just invite Danielle to come speak, and then she'll speak about the power of words. All right.
Thank you. All right, so as we're surrounded by water, we have the ocean right here. I'm going to talk about the miraculous ability of water. So water is life. We can survive much longer with food than we can without water. If we lose 2% of water, we're thirsty. 10% of water, we begin to hallucinate. And 12% of water, we can die. 60 to 70% of our bodies is made out of water, and water is needed for our body to work. 95% of our brain is made out of water. Water is intelligent, and it's even theorized that water has memory. Water is capable of recording and storing information. It's a blank slate and absorbs the information that it's given and the information of its surroundings. A jellyfish is 99.9% water. It's almost completely water. A human fetus is 95% water, yet they're both alive. They have life, yet they're almost completely made out of water. So it's like water is almost like a computer program. It stores the information of their design that it's given, and it displays it to be. To us, water is odorless, it's flavorless, it's colorless, but yet it's impossible to find identical water anywhere on Earth. And that's because water absorbs the information of its surroundings. So there was a famous water experiment that a Japanese researcher did in the 90s. His name was Dr. Moto. So what Dr. Moto did is he took various samples from multiple different places and multiple different bodies of water, and he froze the water and he examined it under a microscope. And he observed how the crystalline structure of that water presented itself, especially as that water melted, what crystals that he saw. And no water was identical. He also subjected the water to both negative and positive words and emotions, and would freeze the water and examine it under the microscope. And he found that positive emotions made the crystal formations of water more harmonized, where negative emotions made the crystalline formations more chaotic. And you all have a handout so you can kind of see the effects of the words and the emotions on the crystalline structures of water. Especially down on the bottom, there's a comparison between the positive words and the negative words. Let's see. So there was another scientist who was a Nobel Prize winner, not for this particular experiment on water, but he was a Nobel Prize winning scientist. And he did an experiment on water. And he concluded as well that water has memory. It responds to words, thoughts, emotions, and its environment. What he did was he gave a group of students samples from an identical body of water. And in a controlled environment, he asked the students to meditate either something positive or negative over that water and speak those positive and negative words into that water. He then did the same thing. He froze the water. He examined it under a microscope, examined its crystalline structure, and noticed the stark contrast between the negative and the positive words that were spoken into this water. So why is this important? Well, up to 70 to 80% of our body is water too. Our brains are 95% water. Every single cell in our body is made up of water. So on a microscopic level, this is happening to our body by the words that we speak to ourselves, or maybe the music we listen to, and whatever positive or negative situation we subject ourselves to. The water in our body has memory. So every thought that we have, I'm poor, I'm rich, I'm fat, I'm thin, I'm beautiful, I'm a failure, I'm a success. It's changing the very structure of the water in our body and either creating chaos or harmony within us. So how does this affect our patients? Well, the words that we use around our patients affects our patients. Even if we think our patient is unconscious or in a coma or demented, the water within them still has memory and is still absorbing the words and the emotions that we are projecting around them. So it's important to continue to speak positively as caregivers to promote comfort and healing. So some words that we might say, oh, a client is, they're being hopeless, they're being unbearable, they're being impossible. But simply just changing our words to be, they're having a challenging day, or this is just, a difficult day for them, can make a difference in their well-being overall. So I'd like you all to, look at that label, and we'll do like a little experiment. So the first thing you want to write on that label is you want to give thanks to the creator or whatever God you believe in, whether you say universe, great spirit, creator, God. Thank you, God, for blessing me. Thank you, creator, for blessing me. And then what you wish to be, or what your positive affirmation is. I am beautiful. I am abundant. I am successful. I am full of divine love. And you put that on your water and let that water absorb that positivity, that harmony that you're speaking into that water before you ingest it. And you can do this experiment today for the next week, and you just kind of look at that and you meditate on that before you take a sip, before you ingest this water that gives you life, before you infuse that energy into your body, and see how you feel. Thank you.
Essentially, my name's Micah. I work as a broker, and my role in this, and kind of why Jumi brought me on, was that all of you on a daily basis are meeting with people and caring for them in a sensitive time in their life, right? You're meeting their families, you're getting to know them, you're bonding with them, and that's the emotional component to the work that you guys do. However, there's also a very important financial component to the work that you guys do, right? You guys are getting paid for what you do, and you're getting paid because these clients, either through their family, the state, insurance, they have some resources to make that happen. Otherwise, we don't have a job, right? So in my work, I kind of sit down and I talk with people about how to plan for that day if and when it comes, right? Because most of us are relatively young right now and, hopefully pretty healthy, but there's going to come a time where we may not be. And individually, we may need to acquire the services that you guys are providing, right, one day in our own lives. So it's never too late to start thinking about, well, how do I plan for my retirement? How do I make sure I have long-term care? How do I make sure I have disability? How do I make sure I have critical illness? How do I make sure I have a plan for my retirement, right? What does that look like? How do I make that work if my budget's this and my expenses are this right here? So that's kind of what my job is here. So you'll see a list kind of topics on that sheet there. If anything is of interest to you guys on there, again, as you can see, I handle a lot of different things. But go ahead and fill that out. I can be in touch with you guys one-on-one about setting something up like that for yourself. Whatever that looks like, individually, one-on-one, it's completely up to you guys. I'm here to serve. But that's a little bit about my role, making sure that families are protected, making sure that we're building wealth, saving for retirement, putting proper care in place for ourselves and our families, so that hopefully we don't have to go into a long-term care situation. But if we do, we have the policies, we have the resources, and we have the support where that's not going to bankrupt ourselves, bankrupt our families, or make sure everybody's taken care of. So that's my short spiel at the end of the day. Guys, honestly, I'm just here to help you take whatever next step for your futures, your families, and your finances, and make sure everybody's cared for in your respective spheres.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So yeah, just go ahead and fill that out if you guys would like me to touch base on anything, and in 5 minutes or so I'll just come back around and pick them up. Thanks, guys.
Hi everyone, again my name is Vanessa. I'm the new nurse with SYNERGY HomeCare. Happy to be here, happy to be able to provide some answers that you might have, be a resource person with any questions or concerns. Just feel free to reach out to me and I will get back to you. Again, I work virtual, so I will get back to you within 24 hours because I also have a full-time job. So I'm going to speak a little bit about Alzheimer's, dementia as a whole. The term dementia is pretty much an umbrella for 5 different types of memory. Dementia comes in 5 different types, Alzheimer's being one of the most common types, and the one that you probably have heard the most about. So as Julie was asking us earlier, try to think about an ability that you consider essential and how would that impact your life. Now imagine that being the ability to remember. Imagine losing your brain in the sense. It's a very sad condition to have, and actually 1 in 3 seniors dies of Alzheimer's or another form of dementia. That's a pretty significant statistic. 1 in 3 of the seniors have some type of form of dementia. It kills more than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. So I have a packet that I shared with you all. It gives you facts and figures. The second page is just Alzheimer's caregiver tips for you and also for the families. So this is something that you could leave in the home if you are caring for a client that has some type of dementia. It talks about communication, behavior changes, sleep problems. It's actually pretty resourceful. So just think about even a sleep problem. Make sure the person gets enough exercise and limit the daytime naps, and that would help them sleep better at night. It sounds like common sense, but we typically tend to think that way about kids, not so much an adult, but this also applies to adults. Another part of the packet is, I know we have a client in particular who has a lot of aggression and anger when it comes to her mental status. So I included this packet in there that talks about some of the causes and how to respond to clients with this type of condition. Then lastly, home safety checklist. What might be obvious for us on safety things around the home might not be as obvious for them. So even just like a throw rug is probably not the best idea to have when it comes to clients with dementia. Sometimes they don't perceive danger the way we would perceive danger. I also have here some examples of things that you can do with your clients. So this seems like a little kid table, but it's actually just various activities that you could do with your clients. Keeping their dignity in mind, think about what they used to do before they got to the stage of their condition. If you have a client who used to love to paint or draw, first of all, I got all this at the Dollar Tree store. So this is something that you could buy. We will also provide that for you. But if they used to like to paint or draw, something like this, something that would just entertain them or get their mind off of that anger and aggression. Legos, use the big ones, not the little ones. Try to keep that in mind, that the little ones might be too much for them. So the bigger blocks. If you have a client who used to be an engineer, or a builder, someone who used to love construction, this might be something that they might actually find fascinating. And again, it's at their level, at their current level. So don't think it's for kids. Think of where their mind is at right now. Play-Doh, someone who used to love pottery, someone who used to love gardening. Maybe you could plant something with them. Even a simple game of match, any type of cards. You could literally just cut it in different shapes, something that will be very easy for them. And that's going to make them feel like they accomplished something huge. Because at this age, they feel, they know, some of them know that they're not who they used to be. A simple game of checkers or puzzle. Don't get the small puzzle, get the big puzzles that have like the large 25 pieces. A simple game of ball, anything to distract them from where their current mindset is. I also have some facts on dementia, how your brain actually gets affected, what a normal brain looks like, and the progression of the brain when it comes to having dementia. So it's pretty interesting to see. I also listed the psychological needs of a client with dementia. We have to think about all different aspects of their life. So if you guys have any questions, I'm here. I know afterwards, but just gonna hang out. But I'm here to provide any more resources for you. Okay, thank you.
To begin to grow, this is what you should be expecting. More guest speaker coming in, sharing their story, shedding some light on some of the things that we do. So it's not a boring staff meeting. Have you ever been to a staff meeting where it's just like, oh man, it's just no food, no water, it's hot, So I want to break free from that, and I want us to learn and grow and share. So even if you have workshops and you're like, okay, Jumi, I want to speak about self-image. I want to speak about this. I want to share this with the team. Yes, let's sit down together and brainstorm some ideas, and let's bring that out of you. Everyone has a gift, right? We all have a gift, and we all have potentials. And where I want us to do here is to bring out our potential and not look at us as just caregivers or just CNAs, but look at us as we are professionals, and we're pouring and we're giving and we're service, just helping people, right? But also, you can't pour on an empty cup, right? So you need to be filled yourself. So bring what brings you joy, and let's share it with the group. All right, so you all have a goodie bag. Please take one home. Glorismo was helped us put that together. So thank you, Gloris, for putting all the goodies together for us. But please take a bottle. It's hot out there, so take a water bottle and use it every day. Take it to your other jobs too. And there's plenty of pizza. Please take it home, because unless I'm going to eat it all. And I don't have a furry one, so. And yeah, the cake, the desserts. And when more people come in, we can take a group picture. Please don't leave until we take a group picture. Please. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.